starred the boy who vanished from his bedroom while his family slept 10 feet away. On December 26, 1997, a 6-year-old boy vanishes from his bed. His parents are sleeping 10 feet away. No doors open, no windows break, no footprints in the snow outside. Police search for 72 hours straight and find nothing. Not a fiber, not a hair, not a single witness. Here is what no one talks about. The lead detective on this case believed the answer was hiding in plain sight the entire time. He just could not prove it. And 27 years later, neither can anyone else. This is the story of Michael Dunahee. But it is also the story of how a single missing child case in 1997 accidentally revealed a massive flaw in how police investigate disappearances. A flaw that would not get fixed for another 15 years. In the next 12 minutes, you are going to learn 3 things that will change how you think about missing persons cases forever. First, the 48-hour myth. Why everything you have been told about the first 2 days of an investigation is dangerously wrong. Second, the bedroom paradox. How a child can vanish from a locked house without any physical evidence, and why it happens more often than you think. And third, the detail from this case that investigators buried. The one piece of information that still haunts the detective who worked it. I will get to that around the 8-minute mark, and it is going to make you question everything about this story. But first, you need to understand what happened on that night in December. It is 11:47 p.m. on December 26, 1997. The Lawson family lives in a modest 2-story home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Stephen Lawson, 36, works at a local manufacturing plant. His wife Karen, 34, teaches 2nd grade. Their son Tyler is 6 years old. The house has 3 bedrooms upstairs. Stephen and Karen sleep in the master bedroom at the end of the hall. Tyler sleeps in the room directly next to theirs. The walls are thin. Karen often says she can hear Tyler breathing through the wall. At 11:47 p.m., Karen wakes up to use the bathroom. She walks past Tyler's door. It is closed, like always. She does not open it. She does not check on him. Years later, she will tell investigators this was the decision that destroyed her life. At 6:14 a.m., Karen wakes again. She walks to Tyler's room to wake him for breakfast. The bed is empty. The covers are pulled back. Tyler's stuffed elephant is on the floor. Karen screams. Stephen runs into the room. They search the entire house in 4 minutes. Every closet, every bathroom, the basement, the attic, nothing. At 6:23 a.m., Stephen calls 911. The recording still exists. You can hear Karen sobbing in the background. Stephen's voice is steady for exactly 12 seconds. Then it breaks. Police arrive at 6:31 a.m., 8 minutes from the 911 call. That response time matters, because what they find in the next hour will define this entire investigation. Every door is locked from the inside. Every window is latched. There are 4 inches of fresh snow outside, fallen between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Not a single footprint anywhere near the house. Not in the front yard. Not in the back. Not in the driveway. Here is where it gets strange. And I need you to remember this detail, because it comes back later in a way that changes everything. Tyler's shoes are still in his closet. His coat is still on the hook downstairs. His boots are still by the back door. Wherever Tyler went, he went barefoot, in December, in Iowa, with 4 inches of snow on the ground. Detective Raymond Costa takes the case at 8:15 a.m. He has worked missing children cases for 11 years. He has solved 14 of them. He will later say that Tyler Lawson's disappearance was the only one that made him consider leaving law enforcement entirely. In the first 6 hours, Costa interviews Stephen and Karen separately. Their stories match perfectly. Too perfectly, some officers whisper. But Costa does not buy that theory. He has seen guilty parents. These two are not performing grief. They are drowning in it. By noon, Costa has 23 officers searching a 2-mile radius around the Lawson home. They check every neighbor's house, every garage, every shed, every storm drain. They bring in dogs at 1:47 p.m. The dogs pick up Tyler's scent in his bedroom, follow it to the hallway, and then lose it completely at the top of the stairs. Let me say that again. The dogs track Tyler's scent from his bed to the hallway. Then it vanishes. Not at a door, not at a window. At the top of the stairs, in the middle of his own house. Costa will later describe this moment to a journalist. He says the handler looked at him and said, "Ray, I have been doing this for 9 years. Scent does not just stop. It goes somewhere." By 6 p.m. on December 27th, 24 hours after Tyler was last seen, Costa has no leads, no witnesses, no physical evidence, no suspects. And this is where the 48-hour myth comes into play. You have probably heard that the first 48 hours of a missing child case are critical, that most cases are solved or lost in that window. Here is what that statistic actually means. It comes from a 1983 FBI study that analyzed 621 abduction cases. The study found that 76% of children who are murdered by their abductors are killed within 3 hours of being taken, not 48 hours. 3 hours. The 48-hour number became famous because of a television show. It sounds dramatic. It creates urgency, but it also creates a false sense of hope. If you have not found your child in 3 hours, the statistical reality is devastating. Tyler Lawson was last seen at approximately 8 p.m. on December 26th, when Karen put him to bed. By the time police arrived at 6:31 a.m., over 10 hours had already passed. Costa focuses on the impossible logistics. A child cannot vanish from a locked house without leaving a trace. So either the house was not locked, or there is a trace they have not found yet. He brings in a forensic team from Des Moines. They arrive on December 28th with equipment that most local departments did not have in 1997. Luminol, fiber analysis, fingerprint mapping. They spend 11 hours processing the Lawson home. They find nothing unusual, no foreign fingerprints, no fibers that do not belong to the family, no signs of struggle, no blood. But they do find something that Costa cannot explain. Tyler's window is latched from the inside, but the latch shows microscopic scratches that are inconsistent with normal use. The forensic tech tells Costa that someone has manipulated this latch. Recently, possibly within the last month. Costa interviews the parents again. Stephen admits that he adjusted the latch about 3 weeks earlier because it was sticking. He used a flathead screwdriver. The scratches match a flathead screwdriver. Dead end. On December 29th, Costa does something that will define the rest of this investigation. He requests Tyler's medical records from the family pediatrician. He requests school records from Tyler's elementary school. He requests employment records for both parents. What he finds in those records is not evidence of a crime. It is evidence of a pattern. And this is where I need to pause and tell you something important. If stories like this fascinate you, subscribe. I upload one of these every single week. Now, here is what Costa discovered. Tyler had been to the pediatrician 14 times in 1997, not for illness, for injuries. A broken wrist in March, a fractured rib in June, a severe bruise on his back in September. Each time, the explanation was reasonable. Tyler fell off his bike. Tyler fell down the stairs. Tyler was roughhousing with a friend. Each time, the doctor documented the injury and the explanation. Each time, the doctor did not report it to Child Protective Services. In 1997, mandatory reporting laws for suspected child abuse existed in Iowa. But they were vague. They said physicians should report when they had reasonable cause to believe abuse had occurred. They did not say physicians must report. Costa now has a theory, but theories are not evidence. This is also around the time when investigators started using new documentation tools. Today, small business owners can create voice documentation, training materials, and even recreate witness testimony using AI voice tools like what you will find at https://try11labs.io 2PU1009Y92JL1. Back in 1997, Costa had a tape recorder and a notebook. The technology gap is staggering when you think about it. Costa interviews the neighbors, all 17 households within a quarter-mile radius. Most of them heard nothing unusual on December 26th. But one neighbor, Eleanor Vance, 71, tells Costa something that does not match the official timeline. Eleanor says she was awake at 3:12 a.m. She knows the exact time because she has insomnia and checks her clock constantly. She says she heard a car door close. Not slam. Close. Quietly. Like someone was trying not to make noise. She looked out her window. She saw a dark sedan parked 2 houses down from the Lawsons. She could not see the license plate. She could not see anyone inside. She watched for about 90 seconds and then the car drove away. Costa checks Eleanor's statement against the snow timeline. The snow started falling at 2 a.m. It stopped at 5 a.m. If a car was there at 3:12 a.m., there should have been tire tracks at 6:31 when police arrived. Costa drives to the location Eleanor described. There are no tire tracks. The snow is undisturbed. Either Eleanor is mistaken or someone covered their tracks. In December, with 4 inches of fresh snow falling. That level of planning suggests something Costa does not want to consider. The investigation stalls. By January 15, 1998, Costa has interviewed 143 people. He has processed over 400 tips. He has searched 67 properties. He has found nothing, but he cannot let go of the medical